Next to me is the craziest Corvette I have ever driven in my entire life. It's loud, it vibrates you to your core, it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's insanely fast. To fully understand this car, let's take a trip back in history. In late 1962, Chevy's chief engineer Zora Duntov wanted to build 125 purpose-built race cars to win the GT class at 24 Hour of Le Mans. Fun fact, the ZR in ZR1 stands for Zora Racing, after the legendary Zora Duntov. The cars were based on C2 Corvette Stingrays, only faster, more powerful, and better handling for the track. It was made from a lightweight tube frame and fiberglass and powered by a 377 cubic inch V8, making an astonishing 550 horsepower. It was absolutely breathtaking and became known as the Grand Sport. Unfortunately, GM caught wind of the fact that Zora wanted to develop these cars in part for independent racers who weren't endorsed by General Motors. After they found that out, they decided to cancel the program completely, meaning only 5 original cars were ever built. All 5 were sentenced to be destroyed, but thankfully they escaped that terrible fate and ended up in the hands of private collectors. Those 5 cars now are worth upwards of $5 million each and have one of the craziest histories of any Corvette ever made. The car behind me was built by Superformance, the kings of flawless classic recreations. Every single nut and bolt on this car has been made new to recreate a legend that most people have never seen in their entire lives. It's been graced with a license from General Motors to be built, and built in conjunction with Duntov Motor Company. These things are available as rolling chassis and can accept engines ranging from the original 377 cubic inch V8 to a new LS7. Only this one has some serious power. You see, under the hood of this Superformance Grand Sport is an LT4. That's right, the same engine in the new Corvette Z06, a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 that makes 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. So the car is ridiculously fast. The crazy part is it weighs a good 600-700 pounds less than the new Corvette. Yeah. And it's a lot more visceral. The looks of the Grand Sport are absolutely amazing. In fact, I feel happy just standing next to it. It's got such an incredible presence. I love the pointed glass housing those 4 headlights, the massive vents in the hood and on the side to cool that LT4. It's absolutely savage, and I think it might be the best looking Corvette ever made. Around the side, we've got massive side exit exhaust. I love that style. It just looks absolutely badass. In the front and rear, we've got 17 and 18 inch pin drive aluminum Halabrand style wheels mated to R compound rubber NT555Rs. And trust me, it takes a heck of a lot of meat to put the power down in this thing. I love how massive the front and rear fenders are, and that you can actually see the rear tires from the front of the car. Let's hop on in the inside, shall we? Now, the inside of the car has been made completely to recreate the original. We've got these beautiful leather seats that are manually adjustable front and back. You can't adjust the recline, but you're in this position that feels perfect for dominating the highway or mobbing down the drag strip. We've got traditional gauges that match the original exactly. I love the orange needles on them, the large, bold white font that lets you know the speedo goes all the way up to 200 miles an hour. It's like a trip through time. We've even got power windows and functional air conditioning. It's pretty spacious in here as well. But nothing, I mean nothing, can prepare you for how epic the startup is on this Grand Sport. It's like a kindergartner hearing the recess bell, lighting up inside knowing that it's finally time for a lunch break. Only me, I'm an adult, I don't have recess right now, but this is way, way better. Check out the sound of this car. Vibrates your entire body when it starts up. It truly comes alive. It feels like the engine is inside of my chest. Let's take it for a spin. Despite the fact that it has a modern powertrain, they've done an impeccable job of recreating the exhaust note of a 1960s race car. It feels much more from that era than something from 2019. In fact, why don't I just let you listen for yourself? In the cabin of the Grand Sport is like nothing else I have ever been behind the wheel of. You've got tremendous visibility out the front windshield, but you sit low and back in the cabin, almost like a bullet in the barrel getting ready to be shot out forward. Everything around you is vibrating. It smells amazing in here. Now, the LT4 is mated to a Tremec T56 6-speed manual transmission, which heightens the driving experience. I'm serious when I mean that the transmission and engine feel like they're bolted to your spine. You feel everything in this car. There's a sense of communication to the powertrain that you just don't get in modern day sports cars. It's kind of a bummer as safety standards increase, as well as sound deadening materials are added into the cabin. You kind of lose connection from the road and the fact that there's literally explosions going on under the hood of the car. But in this, you feel everything. And I love that about it. Yes, it's super loud in here, but that's what's so incredible. You feel like you're taking a trip back into the 60s and experiencing something really, really special. The car is actually pretty easy to drive when you just give it light gas. In fact, the first time I floored it, I was absolutely stunned at how quick the car is. I almost wasn't expecting it. Yes, it's loud, it looks amazing, but oh my gosh. With 650 horsepower and 2,800 pound curb weight, it's got a similar power to weight ratio as a modern day supercar like a Ferrari 488 Pista. Only it's louder, more violent, more visceral, so quite honestly, it feels faster than those cars. So what's the car actually like to drive? Well, the steering is a lot lighter than I'm used to in a traditional modern sports car. It doesn't respond super quickly to your interactions, but if you give it a deliberate turn, the car turns in very well. It rides on Bilstein shocks. It's got a period correct C2 locking differential in the back. That mated with this manual transmission and that LT4 makes for a dream powertrain. It's got wheelwood brakes, so it slows down very, very well. The brake is actually quite close to the gas, so you want to make sure when you're stepping on the brake, you don't accidentally push that. One thing I do notice is there's no dead pedal next to the clutch, so I find myself kind of resting my foot on the ground, which can be a little bit uncomfortable. This car commands a ton of attention when you're out on the road. 99.99% of people don't understand that if this was a 1 of 5 original car, it'd be worth over $5 million. But honestly, that's what's so fun about this is it's only 189 grand, which means you can have a heck of a lot more fun with it. Instead of leaving it tucked away in a climate-controlled garage, you can actually push this thing to its limits, enjoy it, and show off the beautiful car to the public. People are waving, going crazy. It is awesome behind the wheel of this. And I imagine when they look in and notice it's a 24-year-old kid, they're probably really, really confused. We're out on some twistier roads now to experience what it's like. You probably can't even hear me at this point. Behind the wheel going around turns. But it corners really flat. Actually, impressively so. You definitely need a lot of input from the steering wheel. But man, there's limited body roll. And when you get on the gas, this thing is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. That was the third gear pull from 4,000 RPMs, and I just about passed out. Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable. It's nowhere near the fastest car I've ever driven, but it's so intense in the cabin that it feels a lot faster than it is. And it is stupid fast to begin with. And because you've got good functional AC, comfortable seats, power windows, you can drive this thing all the time. It's actually got a decent amount of space back there for storage. It's got a small trunk in the back you can use as well. All right, do we try a second gear pull? Oh my gosh, this thing is a handful. Spinning the tires at 40 miles an hour. Whew. It's definitely a car you got to get used to driving quickly, that's for sure. Modern day supercars, you can hop in, floor it. It's not a problem at all. You've got insane traction control, and it just feels a little bit more controlled. This feels like the car almost wants to kill you, but in the best way possible. It makes it so much more exhilarating. You definitely can't roll by incognito because this thing is unbelievably loud. Honestly, as somebody who hasn't had a lot of time behind the wheel of classic cars, I wasn't sure what to expect when stepping behind the wheel of this, but I have been blown away in every single regard, from the amazing, rumbling, terrifying V8 to the levels of acceleration that I was absolutely not expecting in a car that looks like this, to the drivability and just how beautiful it is. I'm in love with this car. Like the entire construction team looking over. I absolutely love what Superformance is doing, allowing people to access these legendary cars at a much, much more affordable price point. They've got everything from Shelby Cobras to the Daytona Coupe GT40, all of which are in the $100,000 to $200,000 range, not millions and millions of dollars. The build quality is absolutely impeccable. This car drives incredibly well. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. All right, second gear pull again. Holy crap! That was insane. I was looking behind me to check for cops. The rear view mirror, you can't actually see very well because of this cage bar. Wow, I'm having the time of my life in this thing. The question is, can it do a burnout? I think this car has single-handedly made me fall in love with classic cars. Oh my gosh. This is unbelievable. It's a driving experience like nothing else I've ever been behind the wheel of. It's unbelievable. And the crazy part is, with a modern powertrain, you can drive it every day. It comes with a 2-year, 50,000-mile warranty for the powertrain, and you can service it at your local Chevy dealer. How crazy is that? Well, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.